All right. Welcome, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Excellent.
Busy.
Thank you so much for coming to the virtual launch party for Quill Hawk Publishing. We are recording, and I will make this recording available after our party, and I'll put it on YouTube. So let me see if I can share my screen, and we will start with this right here. There we go. Y'all can see that?
Nice.
Yes.
All right. So again, I'm not going to fully share this so that we can see each other and so that I can see anybody else that's coming in late. Okay, so here's the virtual launch party for Quill Hawk Publishing. Here is our agenda for today. Again, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to take just a few seconds to do a moment of silence because today is 9/11, and we've lost a lot of friends and family on that date. And so if you could all join me, I would love for you to take that moment of silence with me. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about me so you know who I am. We'll talk a little bit about Quill Hawk Publishing and what we do. And then Dee Britt has a special surprise for us. She's going to sing us a wonderful song that she had written. And when I listened to it, my heart melted, and I just asked Dee, please sing this and kick it off for us. So we'll be treated with that. Mm-hmm. We'll go into the publishing process, trying to demystify it a little bit, and then we'll go into the partner intros and author intros. So if you're here today and you're a partner and an author, feel free to spend a couple of minutes talking about your author journey and also what services you provide as a partner. And then we'll go into Q&A, and then we'll have a lot of prizes to give away as well. Mm-hmm. Sounds good?
Good.
All right. So just a little bit about me. My origin story really started with my mom. So after the fall of Saigon in 1975, my mom ended up leaving the country to escape from the repressive communist regime. And it took her several thwarted attempts before she was finally successful, but she did leave the country with myself. I was 5 years old at the time, and she also left with my cousin, who didn't know he was leaving the country for good. And he was 16 at the time. So when he found out, he was quite shocked. But to complicate matters, my father had another family, so he ended up leaving the country with his American family, left my mom alone, and she had to actually go underground and figure out how to survive. So she actually sold in the black market anything she can get her hands on in order to make it day by day. And on top of that, I was born with a congenital heart defect, so my life expectancy was not very good. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to die before the age of 5, which is another reason why my mother, Miss Hustler, she fought to get out of the country to find medical care for me. And luckily she did. We survived 5 days out in the ocean. I was one of the hundreds of thousands of boat refugees. We survived the refugee camps where there were murders, rapes, diseases, you name it. There was probably as many people dying as there were people being born in these refugee camps. And ultimately, we got sponsored to the United States. So Seattle was where we landed, and that's where my heart is, even though now I'm in Oklahoma, and I've been here for 4 years now. So anyways, when my mom passed away, not only did she die, but my heart died with her. And I decided to pivot my career, left corporate America, and decided to write her story. And the Snow Trilogy was what came from it. And a few years later, Quill Hawk Publishing was born. So that is my segue into Quill Hawk Publishing. Now, December 2019 was when Quill Hawk was actually formed, and it was actually to publish my own books. I did get an offer, a traditional contract for Snow in Vietnam. I ended up turning it down and decided to self-publish Snow in Vietnam. And you know what? that book turned out to be pretty phenomenal. And I wrote book 2 and book 3 under Quill Hawk Publishing. And now, beginning of this year, I actually opened it up to close friends and family, except for Matt. I didn't know Matt at the time. He was just some random person that I met online on Facebook, and he joined the Quill Hawk Publishing family. I helped him debut his first novel, Land on Me, which is a beautiful book. And so anyways, now Quill Hawk Publishing is officially open for business, and I am helping other authors indie publish their works. And it's been quite a joy. I've published 8 books under Quill Hawk Publishing, got another 14 in the works that's going to be published within the next either few months or actually all the way up till 2025 because of the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. And some of these contracts that I've signed with, I'm under NDA, so I won't be able to share who they are, but I'm really excited that once their story gets out, you'll all be able to enjoy their stories. So that's a little bit about Quill Hawk Publishing. And now we get to Dee. You're on, Dee.
All right. Well, when I was kind of surprised whenever Amy asked me to do this. Of course, I'm more than happy to do it. This song, back a long time ago, I was in a band, a gigging band. This was one of the originals, Freedom. And she wanted me to say just a little bit about, how I came to want to write this song. And basically I was driving in downtown Oklahoma City and went past a homeless shelter. And this one guy in particular really just grabbed my full attention. He was leaning against the building, and just the way he was looking, I could see his eyes, and his eyes looked like they had no hope, and he had no freedom, basically. And so I started thinking about what is that? How does that mean? And there's lots of ways we can lose our freedom, not just the traditional way. But to me, it's like I started really thinking about that. And to me, I just think one of the things that makes us human is that we need and we want a peaceful heart, whether we know we're searching for it or not. That is something that we're always looking for. And it came upon me that, one of the things that's necessary for you to, during that search for a peaceful heart, is to have freedom. And if we would equate freedom to just realizing that when you're in a pinch, if you're in a place where you feel like you have no freedom, there is a key to freedom. It may be looking in a direction that you haven't looked before. With all of the, reaching out to God, reaching out to your intellect, to your friends, to your connections. I just wrote this song primarily so that hopefully nobody would ever just the hope that people would find their way to a peaceful heart, basically. And so that's what this song's about. It's called Peaceful Heart, or it's called Freedom About a Peaceful Heart. Propped against a building, his foot against a wall. This building is his home now, a sheltered place to fall. Shunned by a society to keep him in his place. He said, I only a better way. Everyone wants a peaceful heart. Everyone needs freedom. Everyone wants a peaceful heart. Everyone needs freedom. No matter what has chained you down, there is a key to freedom. Everyone wants a peaceful heart. Everyone needs freedom. Door opened by talent and hard work to succeed, closed by just a battle and an ugly ego greed. Today's just like the last one, life in disarray. He said, I only want some peace, there's gotta be a better way. Be a better way. Everyone wants a peaceful heart. Everyone needs freedom. Everyone wants a peaceful heart. Everyone needs freedom. No matter what has chained you down, there is a key to freedom. Everyone wants a peaceful heart. Everyone is freedom. She sits across the table, her friend walks out the door. She never thought she'd turn away, I guess it's just one more. Relationships of pleasure, relationships of pain. She said, I only want some peace, there's gotta be a better way. Be a better way. Everyone wants a peaceful heart. Everyone needs freedom. Everyone wants a peaceful heart. Everyone needs freedom. No matter what has chained you down, there is a key to freedom. Everyone wants a peaceful heart. Everyone needs freedom.
Ooh,
Hey, that's freedom. So,
thank you so much. We've got some comments in the chat. Francis says, love this beautiful voice, beautiful song, Dee. And Tamara says, very appropriate song for 9/11.
Yep.
Beautiful. Ashley says, beautiful. Leslie says, so amazing. Thank you. Dee, I should have brought tissues. That was so beautiful. Thank
That
you.
was good.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're
Nice
welcome.
job.
Thank you.
All right. Now we go into demystifying the publishing process. Some of us are along our journey where we're veterans, we're seasoned. Some of us are just beginning. And it doesn't matter where you are. It seems like every 6 months, the publishing industry, the rules, everything is changing. Even, you know, whether you put 2 spaces after a period or 1 space after a period. You know, when you start writing, you got to think about branding, promoting, and marketing. A lot of people think that that is something they do after they publish. And I'm always saying, no, this is the moment you have the idea in your head that you're going to write a book, that's when your branding, your promoting, and your marketing starts. You've got to start building your followers, your readership. You've got to bring them along this process so that when you publish and you launch, you've already got a whole army of people ready to buy your books, promote alongside you, and help you get to the next level, right? So I put together this 5-page PDF, thanks to Jenny Muscatel, who helped me put this together. It is really about going from A to Z, from idea to liftoff, to publication and beyond. And these are actually prompts. They're questions that will help you think about, what do I need to do now at this stage or at this step in my journey? So whether you're plotting your idea, you know, you identify what the purpose is, and there's all these questions again that help you figure out what is the idea and to focus and to zone in. From there, you know, some of us are plotters, pantsers, plantsers, whatever you want to call us, but it's always good idea to outline your content, right? Figure out if you're a fiction writer, a nonfiction writer, what do you need to do? Where do I start my research? Who do I interview? What are my resources? And even if you end up straying from your outline, which is what I did, I plotted everything and I didn't follow it at all. My characters, I found out, spoke to me and just let me tell their story. And that's okay. That's what a pantser does. But it's very important to at least get an idea, right, of what you want to write and outline those chapters. And then the hard part is the spit, polish, and shine. And again, all these questions will prompt you as a writer to figure out, okay, now that I've written my first draft, what do I do? How do I edit? What do I look for? How do I find an editor? How much do they cost? What are the differences between editors, right? There's content editors, there's copy editors, there's proofreaders, you have formatters, there's all sorts of different industry professionals that can help you along this to make sure that it's polished and ready to go. And then of course, you've got your graphic designers, you've got your illustrators, and even after you figure out how to upload it to Ingram Spark or KDP or Draft to Digital or whatever platform it is that you're using to indie publish, you're going to do what I do, which just get really mad and throw things at the wall because I can't figure out Ingram Spark. But let me tell you, there's been so many people who have done this, and let's take that pain away. Let's take that stress away and partner up, and let's get your book baby out into the market. So that's what Quill Hawk Publishing does. And we are not a vanity press. We are not a traditional publisher. We are a hybrid, and we help authors indie publish their work so they keep their rights, they keep their royalties, and we just consult and help them along their journey. By the way, after this, I will send out an email with the recording, and I will also include the 5 pages of the prompts from idea to liftoff for everyone to see if they'd like to use it. Okay, we are going to go straight into partner introductions. I am so excited that along my journey with Quill Hawk Publishing, I am surrounded by amazing partners who can really provide that concierge service for the indie authors. So we're going to start off with Carly Valentine. And Carly, if you are here, we're going to have you chat a little bit first about what it is that you do and maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Hi. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Before I got too far along, I thought I'd better check. But my name is Carly Valentine, and I'm a children's book author and illustrator. I have now done I've published 8 picture books, children's picture books, and I have authored and illustrated them all also, and then I indie published them. And it's been quite a journey. I started last October, so that was a big learning experience. And before this, I actually worked as a hairstylist and a master esthetician. And I did that for about 15 years, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed the creative outlet that was for me. And I went back to college and got a degree in business admin. And while I was at college getting my degree, I had a son that was diagnosed with a congenital heart defect.
Aww.
And so that's how I met Amy here. We have that in common. And through that whole journey, I became a pretty good disability advocate and try to write books about various disabilities and those types of struggles. And then the pandemic hit, so I kind of changed direction and decided that it probably wasn't safe for me to be working as a hairstylist and esthetician with my son's medical stuff going on. So I one night was reading to my little boy after I decided to quit for a while from my job, and I was rocking him to sleep, and we thought of a story together. My little, well, he was 2-year-old at the time. And I just created this little story about what all the fun ideas that he wanted to do the next day with me. These crazy, outrageous ideas, like have ice cream as big as the ceiling and make a building that went to Mars, and just like crazy stuff like that. And I just had this overwhelming feeling that I really felt strongly that that's kind of what I wanted to do now. So I literally went downstairs and said, I think I'm going to write some children's books. And my husband just kind of looked at me, but he has been a great supporter, and he bought me my iPad so that I could illustrate, and it's been really, really fun. I've really enjoyed it, and I've learned a lot along the way. And so I hope that I can be helpful to the authors that work with Quill Hawk. I plan on doing some indie author children's book consulting and helping authors if they want to indie publish with whatever they need help with. Basically, I do picture books, so it's a little bit different than the other types of things that Amy offers. I also will be offering illustrations, and I have an author here, Eileen, that I'm going to be working with on a project soon. So I'm super excited about that. And I am available for consulting for illustration help too, if there's people that want to make their own illustrations and just kind of need some guidance as far as that goes. So I am excited to kind of start this new little part of my journey, and looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm thankful Amy's invited me.
Thank you so much, Carly. I'm very excited to partner with you because I know nothing about children's books. I've only published, adult fiction. And so this is going to be great to partner with you and send authors your way who want to publish children's books. Okay.
Thank you. I'm excited about it.
So next we have Cycle Rider Publishing. John Gormley's on.
Well, guys, thank you so much. And Amy, as always, this is wonderful launch. Thank you for having me being part of your publishing journey, and very nice to meet everybody that is associated with Amy. And of course, we're all huge fans of her and her work as well. So my name is John Gormley. I actually met Amy through reading her first book, Snow in Vietnam, and I wrote a big review of her on Amazon and was extremely intrigued not only with the story, but then I couldn't wait to read Snow in Seattle as well. And I just really was intrigued with where she was going with her own publishing. And so I, by trade, for the last 25 years, I've been in the cybersecurity space. And I've been both a technologist and engineer, a global speaker. But where the cycle writer comes in, as you can see from my wall, I love cycling. I've cycled all over the world, from Canada to China to Italy to actually Vietnam, right over there. So, and I've written about some of those stories as well. And one of the things that I've done in my career, as I finally bagged cybersecurity about 6 months ago, and I write professionally now and freelance blog for cybersecurity companies. So I get hired by small startups and other technology companies asking me to write blogs for them and help them tell their story and help answer some of the questions that come up. So one of the things I partnered with Amy on is I'll be writing in the blogs onto the website about cybersecurity. Everyone always asks questions. One of the things that Amy asked about was, when I go and I use the airport Wi-Fi, is it really secure? And I just went, no. So everybody and their mother can see what you're on. So there's little things about that, and home networking is another one I write about. I got a lot of requests about Bitcoin, and I always shake my head saying, you're putting money in air, just throw it up in the air like you do at a casino. And I assure you that none of the money's going to drop in your pocket at the end of it. So I'll be writing a little bit about that. And one of the things I get a lot of requests from other writers, when they want to add in cybersecurity or some form of cybersecurity content, and they want some clarity on what exactly does this mean, or is this really true, or did this really happen? I absolutely will be an advisor to all the writers and say, yes, if you're going to put that in your book, here's some things you may want to include. Here's some truth and reality to it as well. So I'm very excited to be part of this partnership as well. As you can see, as Amy mentioned, I also I'm an espresso coffee merchant. So I have a website called cyclewriter3espresso.com, where I actually sell my own coffee brand as well. And Amy actually is a wonderful customer. Thank you, Amy, for being a great customer of my coffee site. But truth to be told, the proceeds of both my books and also my coffee goes to Helmets for Kids in Vietnam. So I'm a very big advocate of safe cycling throughout the world, but particularly in Vietnam. When I was there in 2012, I was doing a cycling tour, and I was completely blown away on seeing these children cycling in these streets in these areas, having to deal with motor scooters and other trucks and cars, and these kids were dodging them like you wouldn't believe. And so I found out later on that there was an organization in Vietnam that was building helmets or making helmets cost effective for children that they can afford. So my proceeds of both my coffee sales and also from my book sales actually go to support that charity as well. So I'm very excited to be part of this. I'm very excited to be a friend of Amy and being part of the whole Quill Hawk family, even though I'm not a Seahawks fan, and she'll forgive me today for that. But I just really enjoy being here, and thank you for having me on your today's launch as well.
Thank you so much, John. Is that, oh, did I get that right? Yep. Okay, Dee, you're back up. You're on mute, honey.
All right. Yeah, I'm an author. Amy helped me get my first book out. Thank goodness for Amy. And like everybody else, I kind of wanted an audiobook. And so I'm kind of familiar because of all the singing and stuff. I'm familiar with mics and all that whole thing. So I thought, well, I'm going to see if I can learn more about it and do my own. Many of us have done our own, but I got hooked up with a school and studied it for a long time. I was really lucky to get a very talented personal coach, Marissa Landcheck, who's a radio personality up in the Northeast. And so as far as helping with all the technical stuff, which I'm not good with anyway, it just kind of helped to give me a good footing so that, I knew kind of what direction to go, what to do. And so I'm started this off, and I'll do my own book. I've got another book that I'm currently in the works with getting that one going. So, I mean, I'm just really excited about it. We'll see how it goes, but I'm good to go with it.
Thank
Ready.
you. And I'm going to see if this works, and we can maybe hear Dee's voice.
Oh, okay.
So.
We had been battling valiantly for the better part of 2 hours, and it had come down to this. After claiming victory in the first set and then losing the second, this was my last chance to take the final match and proclaim myself the winner. Edward was a clever mouse. There wasn't a trap he couldn't sneak food out of, and the family cat could never even get close to him. In fact, made a habit out of stealing food right out of the cat's bowl. Yesterday, we talked about how to find your passion. Today, let's discuss how to turn your passion into a successful business. To clarify your goals, we suggest you start by making a mission statement. The noise of frogs was almost deafening as I walked the path to Bogey Creek. I wondered why Kyle would pick Bogey for the money drop. After all, his brother Brad had drowned in that creek 10 years earlier. Do you hate the thought of planning a vacation? Everything can be so expensive. Well, how about taking a day trip instead? Call the Pennsylvania Tourist Board and ask for your day trip brochure today. If you're an American and you hear the word pickle, your mind probably flashes the thoughts of pickled cucumbers. But lots of different foods can be pickled. Thank you for calling the Concert Hotline. Brought to you by Night Productions. This Saturday night, catch the Uptown Trio at the Go Lounge. I'm Dee Britt. Thanks for listening.
Very cool.
That was so awesome.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, that actually worked.
Kind of surprising. You pulled one on me.
I got a few surprises.
Thanks.
Beautiful voice. All right. Miss Tamara Dragseth, you're up.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
First of all, if everyone would say a few prayers, for the first time, Western Washington has wildfires. And there are within, Lordy, within about 30 miles from where we live, there is a fire. Amy, you know the area, Skycomish Index.
Really?
That entire area has been evacuated, and there's a fire there. So if everyone would just say a prayer for some rain. We really need some. We need some rain, and we have a fire in Index for the first time on Western Washington. We also have a fire down in Packwood, which is also in Western Washington, and neither fire can be attacked due to the terrain. So just a plea to keep us all in your prayers.
Absolutely.
Western Washington is burning.
Wow.
So just a little known fact. Amy finished her very first book. She wrote the last lines of of Snow in Vietnam at my house. I take a bow. She may also have finished a second or a third book at my house. I don't really remember.
Because your house is a beautiful writer's retreat.
Yes, yes. Although it's very smoky right now. We literally have ash falling everywhere. A little bit about myself. I am affiliated with Quill Hawk to be a Beidou reader and a book reviewer. I have been a lifelong reader, and it is something I love. Debut novels because they seem to be so inventive. I don't have the imagination that authors have, and I just am in awe of the imagination that some authors have that allow me to just fall into the world that they create, and I just love that. I can make you any dinner you want made out of leftovers, but asked to write a story, I don't have it, but I love reading stories. And so I'm very thankful to the authors out there that can write these stories that allow me to escape the fires and disappear into the stories that they create. And that's what I do. Well, it's not what I do, but it's one of the things that I do. I come from an insurance industry background of more than 3 decades in that background. And so, John, when you were talking about cybersecurity, I was remembering all of the phishing attempts that my employer would send me, fake phishing attempt emails to see whether or not I fell for them. And if I did indeed fall for them, then I would have to take retraining so that I could identify them. And I actually happen to agree with you on the entire cryptocurrency investment, if you will. But, if someone wants to invest in a non-tangible currency, go for it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. But keep writing. I love reading about them. And
Yeah,
that
Tamara
is
2 to 3 books a week at least. So
yes.
fast. Thank you, Tamara. Before we move on to our next partner, there is a special someone who wanted to say hello and goodbye. So Anne, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Amy, for having me. I guess most of you guys would know that I'm the voice narrator for the Snow in Vietnam for Amy. It's still in a work in progress, and I'm just so proud of her and to be part of this journey with Amy. And I think I told Amy this, I'm not sure, don't come for me. I finished the children's book, so I am interested in this whole thing. So I just thought this was a launch party, and then I heard from Carly Valentine and that you were working on it. So please hit me up. I could use all that. I finished it. So I'm based in Los Angeles, and I'm earning my doctorate while being an actor. So I'm very like all over the place, but when it comes down to it, I do my best to support Vietnamese writers. So I've done some promotions for Amy already for her book, 2 Vietnamese talk shows for her. And a lot of people were really shocked because they thought the snow in Vietnam means snow in Vietnam. Like, what does that even mean? And then they read the book, they're like, oh, okay, so it's a girl named Snow. So I'm very proud of her. So yeah, sorry I can't stay for too long, but I linked my social media, and I hope you guys could follow me and give me any advice. And I'm so excited for this publishing company. When Amy told me like the day for today, I was like, wait, it's launching? Are you serious? So yeah, I'm so excited. So thank you.
Thank you, dear sis. And yes, I will make sure that everybody connects, especially between you and Carly. Anne is an amazing person. She is my narrator. She's also a model, an actress, a humanitarian. Gosh, you were in the beauty pageant. I forgot. Remind me, what did you win?
Oh, I won Miss Vietnam America International 2021, but I only did that to get closer to my Vit community. I'm very awkward in real life. Amy knows that.
But you're also a doctoral student.
Huh?
You're
Yes,
you're a
doctoral.
doctoral student.
Yes, in media psychology. They actually wanted me to write like a memoir, and I was like, absolutely not ready for that. Absolutely not comfortable with that. I'm more comfortable with just doing the regular dissertation panel, and I just, I work with children with autism, so I love children's books. So I think it's perfect to do that, and as just like a side thing. And I finished it, so I was like, Amy told me like, why did you finish narrating for me? Don't come for me. But Carly, thank you for the direct message. I will definitely follow you, and I got your emails. Thank you.
Perfect.
Sending love to everyone, and stay safe. And is it Seattle that's on fire? I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, California too. So please do.
Oh, it fires. Everyone always asks me. I'm like, I don't see it yet, so I guess I'm fine. So it's we're going through a heat wave right now. It's like almost 102.
Wow.
So, yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Much love, everyone.
Be safe. Stay cool, honey. Thank you for coming. All right. Ashley Warner, are you here?
I'm here.
Hey, go for it.
Hello. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley. I own That Digital Rush. It took me about 3 years just to name my business because I didn't know what to call it. But as I was meeting with clients, I loved how excited they would get when they would see their brand online anywhere, either social media or ads, like the creepy ads that follow you around. Everyone loves those. So anyway, that's how I got to That Digital Rush, just that whole rush that they would call and be like, oh my gosh, I just saw my ad, I'm so excited. So anyway, that's why it's called that. I help my clients with every single aspect of digital marketing. So it could be posted on social media, also setting up ads, Facebook, Instagram, Google, Snapchat, Reddit, Hulu, like whatever. We're out there and we're advertising. And I meet with Google and Facebook about once a month just to learn about the new updates they have and how we can utilize that. AKA, they're just changing all the time. So let's see, my entire career has been in digital marketing. So when I was 20 years old, my first manager came up to me and she was like, hey, what do you know about email? We're thinking about emailing our customers. So like now that is laughable, but this was, I don't know, 99, I don't know. Anyway. And this was a huge financial services firm. And so that's how I got into it. And then moved on to my next job where I would fly out to New York and talk to magazine editors about their online content and testing and email. And it was so fun. So now I'm here and I run my own business. And then another new thing that I have going on is I've started a group or subscription program, and it's for people I run into who can't necessarily afford to, have a $1,000, $2,000 retainer with me, for small business owners, entrepreneurs, even marketing managers who are overworked and have so much to do. And it's called Inspire Starter. And this is for people who really have that hustle, and you get ideas every day via text. For paid members, you get a monthly calendar that goes over ideas for example, September 1st, you get an October calendar. And we go through every single idea, reels, TikToks, social posts, blogs, videos. We have a monthly challenge. It's a lot of fun. And I've been meeting a lot of people that I just love. And I think it's because they have the hustle that I have in my heart. And it's so much fun to just network with everybody. Let's see. I think that was all. I am not a published author. My kids and I used to write books together all the time when they were little and adorable, and they loved drawing. So they would draw the pictures while I wrote the stories. I won't be publishing those because they're usually about like Angry Birds and Alvin and the Chipmunks. So obviously topics I won't be publishing, but it's fun. I love it. And I love authors and just the creativity in the stories.
Thank you, Ashley. And I think Matt is interested in your service. And who knows, Matt, you might win something at the end of this launch party. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Jenny Muscatel.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much for throwing such an amazing host party. You always do the best launches, Amy. So exciting. And I have to say as well, your books, I mean, everybody here probably has read them, but they're amazing. I read the first one. I haven't read the second two, but my husband did, and he said they get better. So, which I think is hard to believe because it's really literally one of the best books I've read, hands down. So good job. Your mama would be proud. So I am an author. I'm also a social worker by trade. And my debut book was actually a memoir. I had a little girl who was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, and she's had a total of 8 open heart surgeries. And in the time frame that she had her 7th and 8th heart surgery, my husband passed away. And so we had a lot of different struggles and challenges that we overcame. And I chose to be very raw and vulnerable in that story so that other people might not feel so alone if they were going through something similar. In my, I guess, networking and community building and all of that, one thing that I've always had a passion for and actually had a business for a while is photography and design work. And so that I don't do the photography part of my business anymore just for fun, but I do still work with design a lot. I do a lot of social media management. I work with a few different organizations on that. And I love to help people brand and promote their businesses in a way that showcases them in the beautiful ways that they deserve to be showcased. So I like to make press packets. You'll see those on my website. I do that through our Valiant Works Publishing branch, and have been so excited to partner with Amy to offer that to her clients. And we also do some basic web design. So we have a few different packages that are available. A lot of times authors are getting started, and like Amy was saying, you want to get rolling, you have to start building your brand right away. You have to start networking right away. And a website's an easy way to do that. So, and it really is just a useful place to kind of store all your information. So that's kind of what I do and what I'll be doing with Quill Hawk Publishing. And I'm super excited about that.
Thank you, Jenny. And if anybody goes to Healing Hearts Vietnam or the Heart Community Collection websites, you'll see a piece of Jenny's work and her artistic creative talent there. And she's put together some amazing press packets as well. So if anybody needs that, I mean, Jenny's just got an amazing eye. So thank you so much.
You can always visit my website as well. Through Amy's link is an easy way to find it. So you go right to her Quill Hawk website. You'll see us at muscatelministries.com. And we have examples on there and samples to look at.
Wonderful. So Anna messaged me and saying that she was having some technical difficulties. I don't know if she's on. Anna, are you here?
I am.
Okay.
I made it.
Hey.
Yeah, my screen froze when Ashley was talking, and all of a sudden I couldn't hear her. And I think what happened was that my AirPods died. So I'm on with my headset. Can you see me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Because I can't see that. It's really weird. Right now I can only see John Gormley. So that's okay. That's okay. So I'm so excited to be here. I am the mother of a child with congenital heart defect, just like Carly, just like Jenny. And I was looking for information about my child's condition and was really discouraged to find that everything that was published in the 1990s was about children who died in infancy. And I knew that that wasn't the truth. And so I wrote a book to kind of set the record straight, let people know that there was hope. And unlike Amy, nobody in the publishing industry wanted to publish my book. Therefore, I turned to self-publishing and developed my own publishing company called Baby Hearts Press. And like Amy, I am completely redesigning my publishing company this year into a hybrid publishing company, and I'm so excited. I have a couple of different authors that I'm working with, a lot more niche than Amy. I just want to focus on helping people in the congenital heart defect community to publish their stories. I'm also an editor, and I'm a distinguished Toastmaster. So I would love to help people with their media appearances, to put together their FAQs, to practice doing interviews, and to get them ready to go on podcasts and other programs. So I'm super excited to be working with Amy. This is our second big project, or maybe I guess third, because we started the Heart Community Collection, and then Jenny Muscatel started the CHD magazine, and now here we are, all of us working together with this as well. So it's super exciting, and I want to thank Amy for inviting me to the launch party.
Thank you, Miss Anna. Media Vines. I know you're
Hi.
here.
Hi, my name is Hannah, and I had the pleasure of working with Amy through Locke, my partner, and so it's been a great journey working with Amy as we kind of try to take her vision to life and trying to showcase all the possibility and potential that Amy and Quill Hawk Publishing have, and it was an interesting journey. It was great. We learned a lot, and definitely learned a lot about indie publishing in the process. So I'm very amazed about how you're able to take on publishing and go against the big guys, and make it your own, and be able to help others who may not know how to do this and be able to do it. A little bit about us. We are a mostly what I call a media and marketing company. We do a lot of content creation. We can design your website for you, e-commerce, whatever you need in that. We also can design videos, logos for you. I really enjoy doing those. That's a lot of fun for me in terms of creation. We also have a if you want more complex website, we also have a team of software people that we bring on to help us create more complex. But so we want to help both the small guys, because it's really difficult for smaller businesses and new startup and new authors to really go out there and pay the cost to compete with the bigger guys. Like one of my best friend is a big company, and he like, Hannah, those guys gotta spend at least $100,000 in order to have a legit website. I'm like, I don't think they have that type of money yet. I say, and that is the difference, because he doesn't see that. He's like, well, they need to have that ability to invest. I said, well, no, not everybody can start like you do. And it's and I wanted, when after talking, I'm like, well, you know what? There are people out there who has the want and have the products and need to get their voice out there, but there aren't that many people out there who are willing to help him do. And that's what we hope to provide a little bit about.
Thank you, Han. Yeah, Media Vines has been a saving grace for me. If you've seen the website, you'll know. I told them from day one, I was like, I want a sexy website, and they delivered just that, and then some. They created some amazing videos. They did my book trailer for Asian Women Trailblazers Who Boss Up, and a bunch of other videos. They've recreated my logo. To one of the things that Lop told me was like, your logo is confining, that pentagon doesn't do any good for you, blah, blah, blah. And so they're really, really great at consulting and looking at the big picture. So thank you very much for this partnership.
Can
Hello.
I put in a few words?
Yes, please do.
My name is Locke Bowie, and I'm the admin assistant for Han. A little bit about my background. I have been in the high-tech industry at the C-level for a big company like DuPont, Xerox, and we have done a lot of technology development that you might have seen and might not be aware of. Like, for example, the inkjet printer that you print out every day, I helped develop that in the early 90s. 3D printing, which is very popular these days, I helped pioneer that in the mid 90s. All the billboard structure, I used to run that company for John Kluge, who used to be the richest man in the United States. And actually, he sold Fox Media to Rupert Murdoch, which is now the Fox channel. Some of the bigger projects I worked on was the launch of the iPod, the worldwide launch of the first iPod with the Chiat Day marketing firm in Los Angeles. And so I have been with the big guys and know quite a lot what it takes to essentially make it big. And like Hans said, we wanted to take the opportunity to transfer some of that knowledge and technology and offer it to the entrepreneur, the smaller business, the educational group, and the minority group, women-owned businesses, group that can't afford these $100,000 or $1 million budget. And if for example, if you go into some of the dominant industry like real estate, there's no way your website can rank on real estate because like Redfin and all those companies just spent millions of dollars on advertising, and there's no way to get a placement on that. The same thing in the publishing world, where essentially it's very difficult to get your website into the mainstream and get it on the first page because there are about 14 companies that spend just on one keyword. They spend about $22,000 a month on one keyword on Google Ads. So there's no way for a small company to essentially get into the mainstream in that very competitive environment. And that's essentially where we step in and hope to provide that gap and that bridge to help the new entrepreneur and in this particular industry, the authors, to get their work out there and be known and help build their brand. And to kind of cut this short, what I want to do is offer a free book trailer as a prize for this launch party, Amy. And you can add that to the drawing at the end of the meeting.
Yes, thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, Medievine's book trailers are amazing. So this is very, very exciting. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on. Graphtech Communications is not here today, and we'll talk a little bit about them. They are actually local to Oklahoma. My partner and I, Joe Walls, my husband, and my son, we actually went and toured the printing company a few weeks back and was really impressed. They've been in business for, since 1997, I want to say, but Roger Kuntz is the owner, and he does everything from banners to pamphlets to bookmarks to, you name it. He'll even print books. So if you send him the PDF, he'll do the books, which is really great if you're in a bind, and he can, just quickly print it right there, and you can even pick it up if you're local to Oklahoma. But if you want to learn more about him, just go ahead and go onto the website, and you can do a direct link to Graphtech Communications from there. And Stacy Monty is also not here, but she is Prestige Prose, and she is an editor. She edited 2 of my books. she's just simply amazing. She really knows her stuff. So if you need a content editor or development editor, same thing, but she's also great at proofreading, copy line editing, and Mediavines actually just did her logo. They redesigned her logo, which is 1,000 times better and different, I think, than what she originally had. And it really speaks to her brand and her company. So again, if you're looking for rebranding and having a logo done, please do check out Mediavines. Okay, Virginia McKevitt is also not here, but she's with Black Widow Books, and she is a graphic designer. She did the cover art for all of my books, Snow in Vietnam, Snow in Seattle, Snow's Kitchen, and then she helped me also with the Snow Trilogy Collector's Edition. She did the Copper Phoenix, and she's simply amazing. And she's also, like the rest of us, you know, trying to offer her services and her expertise at a value that we can actually afford to launch her business and be on our authorpreneurship journey. So please do check out Black Widow Books. Edward Dose, photographer in Snohomish near you, Tamara. And I actually, yes, he's an amazing, amazing photographer. And actually, when I found out that he did one of my friend's headshots, I actually flew to Seattle and booked a spot with him to do my headshots. Of course, to also see Tamara and some friends, but one of the primary reasons for flying out there was to see Edward, and we've just remained connected since then. So he will do your headshots. He will do, he's got a lot of photos that you can also purchase if you want to put it on your book cover, that kind of stuff. So that's Edward. Same thing with Phil Clark. He is not here today. He's actually based out in the UK, and he's a screenwriter. He does script consultancy. He'll also adapt your book if you want to adapt your novel or whatever into a screenplay. He will certainly do that as well. But I want to pause here because I know we also have a screenwriter with us present. Bob is here. And Bob, if you're open to it, I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself and what you do, and your background, your accolades. We're not partners yet, but maybe in the future, we'll see. Take it away, Bob.
All right, my name is Bob Sines. I'm a screenwriter. I do have one published book. It's a nonfiction book about screenwriting that's done quite well, called That's Not the Way It Works. And I do writing for hire for the studios, for production companies, for producers. I just adapted a million-selling novel, one of Molly's books.
Oh, Molly Deber?
Yeah, for Sony. I have 18 produced movies with my name on them as a writer. We'll probably have 2 or 3 more before the next couple of years is up. And I've been very busy, and I do adapt. I have adapted a few novels, and it's my job. I'm actually, you know, a lot of people say they're screenwriters. I know Phil, by the way. He's a good guy. A lot of people say they're screenwriters. It's actually, I make a very nice living doing it. So
I love it. Thanks for sharing. Thank
So
you.
if anybody has any questions or anything, or wants to get a hold of me, I'll put my information on the chat. How's that?
Super. Thank you. All right. Heath Martin is not here with us. He's based out in Seattle as well. And he and I met because he was part of the R&B group, Harmonious Funk Band. And then we ended up working together at T-Mobile. And then he decided to go off on a totally different tangent and go into voice acting. And he's done some amazing, amazing work with commercials, with gaming. He did the trailer. He spoke for my Snow in Vietnam trailer, which is really, really cool. So if you get a chance to go on to YouTube, you can hear his voice over that. But he's not here today as well. So these people are off busy doing projects and stuff. What's up with that?
You know, too, and I've narrated like quite a few documentary films and do voice work all the time too. So that means
Good to know. Thank you. All right,
now,
we're gonna go into.
Now I'll mute myself.
What's that? Oh, you mute? Super. Okay, we're going to go into author introductions, and then after that, we'll do some Q&A and then prizes. All right. So Matthew Core, you are up first. And go ahead and just share a little bit about yourself and your writer journey, and maybe any tips if you want to give tips to authors who are along the journey as well.
All right. Hi, my name is Matt. I live in Brooklyn, New York City. I have a degree in musical theater. I studied here in New York. I've worked on stages across the country, a lot here in New York City, off Broadway, film, TV. I've done some stuff in that realm as well. Always loved creative writing and telling stories and entertaining people. I used to write a lot of fan fiction, short stories, literary role playing like 10 years or so ago. And I had released this short story on Tumblr, and it's been stuck in my head, and I always knew I wanted to get it and turn it into a full-fledged novel. So I started doing that in like 2018 on and off, and I kind of fizzled out. And then still though, it was eating away at my brain, needing to get it out. And then finally with quarantine and everyone having so much time on their hands, that was the perfect time for me to actually sit down and learn about the industry, connect with as many people who have done it already before me. And that's, as Amy said, how her and I connected through a writers Facebook group. I was really just a sponge, trying to absorb as much knowledge of the business and writing as possible. And then also used that time to finish my debut, which is Land on Me, and it was published with Amy and Quill Hawk Publishing as a partner last August, and it's done very well since then. I've been on a few podcasts for it. It is a gay coming of age story about a high school senior in Texas, finding his identity and where he fits on the spectrum of sexuality, and sort of his first love. It's been described as 13 Reasons Why meets Glee meets Dear Evan Hansen, if you know that.
Interesting comp.
Yes. So honestly, I love all of those things. So I was very proud to hear that. And yeah, and it's been out for almost a year now. No, actually it was a year, August 21st. So last month, yeah. And I've loved the journey so far. I am currently writing the sequel. It is very close to being done, probably about 2 or so chapters away from being done. And then I'll start the whole journey all over again in the editing process and marketing and everything. But I'm glad that this is happening, because when I first came on with Amy, there weren't all of these people here on the team that have all this different knowledge of all these niche things. And so I'm grateful to now have that. And thank you, Amy, for introducing and bringing all these people in. But of course, Amy on my journey the first go around was a tremendous help, as she had gone through it before. And I would have had no idea how to navigate Ingram Spark. That seems like the hardest path. But yeah, I was so grateful for her to be there to answer all of my questions and to help me out, because I definitely needed it. But there was a lot of stuff I did on my own as well, and when it came to cover artists and marketing and pushing things and having ideas to get the word out there that this was even coming out, and of course all with Amy's help. So yeah, the book has been beyond what I thought could happen with it. It landed on #1 on Amazon in the LGBT coming of age category, which was it's wild to me. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I can't wait to do it all over again.
Yay.
Congratulations.
You, by the way, had one of the most kick-ass like launch parties ever. So if there's a roadmap to a launch party, Matt's is one of them.
It's on YouTube if anyone wants to check it out. I'm sure Amy has the link. I have the link. Just hit us up if you want to check it out.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Dee?
All right. Well, I'm a physical therapist by trade. It's my day job, and I really love working with elders. And I just had, and I love storytelling. I got kind of into writing the novel from writing songs, and so the idea for this book came about, and it's a series called the Fireside Series, and I just want to bring a much needed and much deserved positive light on the elders that are all around us. I mean, as a physical therapist, this is going to sound like I'm making it up, but I'm not. I have treated a Ziegfeld Follies dancer, FBI agents. I don't know if any of you guys, the younger ones probably don't know, but Jesse Owens, the athlete, the runner who ran against, he was supposed to go to the Olympics and he was warned against going. He went anyway. My patient was never beat Jesse Owens, but he did run against him. And his name was Barney Drake back in the day. So, I mean, just so many folks, and some with common backgrounds that have such tremendous resiliency. Now, there was one couple that I treated the wife. One of my characters, Mr. Epstein, is an Auschwitz survivor. And I treated a woman, she and her husband, when they were young, but they were very young sweethearts. They both went to concentration camps. They were split, and as they were splitting them, their last words, this is what they told me, their last words, it was, "I'll find you in America." And they found each other in America. And he came to every single physical therapy treatment she ever had, but they weren't going to let go of each other. I mean, they lost each other once, and that wasn't going to happen again. They're both gone now. But anyway, those kind of things, I feel it's so important because they're funny and they're resilient and they're brave. And people, when I go into an assisted living center, it just tears me up to watch all these busy people look right over their heads. They're sitting in a wheelchair. They've got a sweater on, wrinkled, and what would they have to offer? And so I'm putting a light on them to show exactly what we can learn from these people. And it's just, anyway, so the first one is Fireside, the James Johnson story. James Johnson was a sharecropper's son, a black guy, a sharecropper's son in Georgia. He fell in love with his high school sweetheart, who was a young white woman. It has flashbacks to their younger days, but in real time. It's set in an assisted living center with some really fantastic, I think they're fantastic characters. The nurse is a rebellious redheaded nurse that has tattoos and drinks tequila at night, but her patients love her because she takes care of them. All the other nurses may put on a good front, but they don't have the caregiving attitude that Ginger has. So anyway, that's what my books are all about. I just sent off Fireside, the West Lion story, for content editing. And I would just like to, say, without a doubt, hands down, I can tell you folks that first book never would have been published had it not been for Amy. I had the heart and I had the desire, and I'm not saying that I would have ever given up. I'm just saying it would not be the quality it is. It would not, it wouldn't happen the way that it has happened. And so you can take that one to the bank. And that's why she's helping me with my second book as well, because I don't think I've learned enough. I lean on her a lot, but she lets you lean on her. So anyway, I've spoken enough. I've probably spoken too much, but really thanks, Amy, for letting me tag along And I guess that's it about my stuff.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Dee. There's a lot of comments coming
Thanks.
through with praise for your book, and Ashley definitely wants to get a hold of one of your books. Jenny is reading it right now and she's loving it. So keep on keeping. I love it.
You bet. I'll get a book to anybody who wants one. Put your name in there and I'll send you one.
All right. Keith is not here, but he did Searching for Eden, and he's got another book that's going to be coming out with Quill Hawk Publishing called The Bridals of Armageddon. Totally two different books, and we'll learn a little bit more. So stay in touch with me on social media as we do cover reveals and, little synopsis of the book, et cetera, et cetera. So Melanie Barton-Gauss, are you here, honey?
I'm here.
All right.
I'm right here.
Go for it.
Well, I was a teacher for 20 years. I taught high school English and also music. So I had quit teaching right before the pandemic started. And I got really bored. And my husband finally said one day, "Would you please find something to do?" He really did.
Let me get off there.
So he and another friend of mine, Shirley Wang, told me that I should write. I have a master's in writing and rhetoric, and they figured I wasn't using it, so I should get to work. So I wrote American Privateer, which is historical fiction. And I think I decided to write historical fiction because I really like Bernard Cornwell. And I'm kind of an amateur historian. I learned a lot of history because of my literature and music classes. We weren't allowed to sing an opera aria if we didn't understand the composer. All the authors we read, we had to understand the times they lived in. So I learned a lot of history because of those things and through travel. So I ended up writing American Privateer. And when I was partway through it, I decided that Amy should be the one to publish it. I met Amy, believe it or not, on Facebook through a mutual friend. And I decided that she had to be the one to publish it.
Thank you, Melanie. And it's been a true honor because I love the book and I love powwowing with you about it and doing your launch party as well. So I'm excited for your second book too. You're working on your second one. So hurry up with that one because I'm I'm anxious to read it.
I love historical books like this, so I'm going to
Yes.
look for it.
Oh, it is so good too. Okay.
Well, thanks. And I do also edit.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm also an editor, and I do content editing as well as line editing.
Do you ghostwrite? I need a ghostwriter.
I do ghostwrite, although that one I have found is a lot harder.
Yes, it is. Len Tran is not here, but he is going to be publishing his Split Up by the Sea memoir very soon. I'm in the middle of editing it right now. And it is his memoir about escaping Vietnam as well as a refugee at the age of 8 with his father and what they went through, and also their journey in America, in New York, I think it was, what life was like for them. So stay tuned for that one. Isaac Kanzambi, all the way from Africa. Are you here? Okay. I know he came on board. Isaac.
Hello.
Hello. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your book?
Wow. I have a short version of my story and a long version.
Let's do the short version because we're running out of time.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Isaac from Africa. I have a short version of my story. In 2020, I went to Italy to promote my talks because I like to speaking, and suddenly every doors were closed. The pandemic started in Italy. When everybody was wondering what is the pandemic, I was there in Italy And I did not imagine, I could not realize that the next 20 years, lives of everybody will change. So I had to sneak on a plane back to Africa. And I found myself in Africa, in the same place that wanted to kill me, because it's a country where I was born. You should not be a speaker, because I like to speak. I speak in churches. They don't allow people to speak unless you speak what they think you have to speak. I speak my mind. I have to run away. I have to hide myself. And I thought maybe I can write some poems to post it on social media. Jenny Muscatel read one of my poems while I was hiding in Africa. And she contacted me and said, Isaac, maybe you have to speak to us. I didn't know who she is, but I trusted her. We spoke, and she told me, do you have anything written? Because I said, I have something. It looks like a book. I don't know if it's a book or not. She said, give me that. I gave to Jenny. Jenny read it. She said, it's good. I will edit it. So I know editors are very expensive. She charged me nothing. And the next step, I will show your book to one of my friends. And she's a publisher. I said, publisher? Do I have any money to meet a publisher in my life? She said, she's my friend. If she likes your book, she will publish it. Ladies and gentlemen, I was in Africa under the lockdown without nothing, and Amy got the manuscript on my surprise. I was just expecting, you are not an English speaker, okay, it's maybe one day, but to my surprise, Amy connected to our message, our vision, and maybe for the first time in my country, Angola, a gentleman will be published in America. And it was kind of a bomb and big news. I said to people, I said, it's impossible. Nobody will publish you. Who are you? And the title of the book will be When the Impossible Became Possible. Amy connected to not only me, my country, my people, the immigrants in America, the asylum seekers, the rejected people. So everybody is waiting that book. I'll take this occasion to say this. Mama Amy, as we call women in Africa, you turn something that was impossible yesterday possible. By publishing my book, you are opening the door to your publishing company. To many Africans who are asking me, who is your publisher? I say, I'm not gonna tell you. When the book will come out, you read, it's written behind. No, we want to meet her. I said, you just wait. You will see on the book, people in Portugal, in Mozambique, in France, in all Angola are waiting for the stamp of your company on our book. Next, I'm going to bring you the Portuguese version, the French version of the book, and you are going to be big. So thank you for trusting me. Thank you, Jenny. I don't know if you can also publish my poetry book. I have 2 poetry books. If you like it, it will be good. And then to finish, everybody who's listening to us or is here, I'm a person who almost lost his life before I come here. Give me the risk. I don't know what the level of faith she has. She wrote a letter for me to apply the visa to come back in America. I will keep that letter all my life. And when I went to apply for the second time the visa, I met a gentleman who is an Asian American. And I say that to Amy. The person who interviewed me was an Asian American. He said, I cannot give you a visa because you have stories. You cannot go back to America. But who is this Emily? I say, she's the person who trusted me. He said, it sounds like a good name. It sounds like my cousin. It sounds like a good person because she trusted you. I trust you, and I'll send you back to America. And when I came here at the airport, they asked me, what are you doing back again here? I said, I came to publish a book. I said, you are crazy. I said, yes, a crazy dream is better than no dream. So thank you, gentlemen. I'm ready to be blessed among you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isaac. That was very beautiful. All right, we're running out of time, so let me see what we've got going on. We have Wing, who is here, and she's not published yet, but she's working on her book. Do you want to quickly tell us what it's about?
Sure. I would love. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I am a nurse, and I've been a nurse for over 23 years. The last 5.5 of them as the director of nursing at a Alzheimer's dementia facility. It's a very small one. And as the nursing director, basically I was the full-time nurse there 5, maybe 6 days a week, sometimes on call at night, and then working again the next day, and on call at night again if we had a resident doing poorly. And like Dee, I wanted to tell their story in a way that it was more than just the disease process, especially in the disease process that takes away parts of people and who they are and their memories and their abilities. People tend to look at what is gone rather than what is left. And there's so much more that's left that's there. And I had the privilege of seeing these people day in, day out, even more so than my own family. And because of that, I gained a very unique perspective over the doctors who only saw them once or twice a month, even the therapists who only saw them 2 or 3 times a week for a limited time, or even the hospice nurses who came in at the very end. Since I was there almost 40 to 60 hours a week, I was able to see their process with this disease and see the human beings that were still there. And my book is about that process and the people that I met. And I'm using my immigrant family as a basis for that. And I'm so thankful. I want to say really quickly, I'm so thankful to be here because this entire book process is very overwhelming to me. And I'm so grateful and thankful to have met Amy. And then now that she's introducing me to all these other amazing writers and all these people who can help me publish my book. So I'm so excited to be a part of this.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Ing. And she's also on our critique team too. So we get to see her writing in progress and give her feedback on it. So it's pretty darn cool. We have 1 minute left to this meeting today. And if you need to jump off completely, please do. I want to respect your time. If you can stay on further, we'll continue plowing through. We don't have much more to go. So with that, let's just go ahead and continue, and feel free to pop off if you need to. Okay, Juliet Dang is somebody who is going to also be publishing with us, but unfortunately she's not here. She's an incredible entrepreneur as well. She's an artist, as you can see. She's got her own fashion design. She's got her own magazine. She's just an incredible, I would highly check her out if you can.
Mhm.
And I think, oh, and John, let's not forget John.
So very quickly, again, I had a chance to introduce during the partner session. So I actually have a non-fictional book coming out, hopefully early next year. I also host a current podcast called At the Corner of Cyber and Blog. And I also have a newsletter that's on LinkedIn as well. And the stories and content that comes from those is really going to be the foundation of the book. So a lot of people always ask me about what goes on behind the scenes in cybersecurity, and do people really get hacked? And and I've got lots of interesting stories to share with that. So I've signed on with Amy and the Quill Hawk Publishing to help bring this non-fictional book out, and hopefully we'll have it out early next year as well.
Yay! I have no idea what threat modeling is, but I look forward to learning. So thank you. Super. Okay. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask, and we'll try to answer them. Okay. You guys are here for the prizes. So we've got several prizes. One was the autographed copy of each one of my books, a Kindle copy of Asian Women Trailblazers Who Boss Up, which is about 16 Asian women who have broken the mold and broken through that bamboo ceiling. And we are here to raise a little bit of hell with our feistiness in the business world. And then we've got another prize, which is one swag item, winner's choice at the Quill Hawk Publishing swag store. And we've got Sunrise in Saigon. Yes, amazing coffee. We love coffee, and my husband is addicted to Cycle Rider 3 espresso coffee. So we've got one 12-ounce bag to give away. We've got a 30-minute consult with Carly on self-publishing a children's book or guidance on doing illustrations. Media Vines also is giving, what was it that you were giving? Oh, it was the book trailer. We've got that. We've got an autographed copy of Searching for Eden by Keith Madsen. 25% off QHP Standard Services package if you wish to publish with me. And then Ashley Werner also has some that Digital Rush offerings as well. So we've got the content planning worksheet, the content planner template. She's got 2 mugs to give away as well. What is your superpower? Or I am an author, what's your superpower? And then copy and autocorrect mugs. So with that, I think I'm gonna share something else, and it's this beautiful generator, wheel generator. So everybody who registered, your name is on here. We're gonna spin the wheel, and now I can't see my other screen, so I don't know what you're gonna win. But we're gonna spin and see what was the first one. I think it was my book, right? Yeah.
It was autographed copies of your books.
Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus Mediavine 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to spin 12 times. Each of those winners will go down that list. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. 12 times we'll spin. All right, so the first one. Clay Connor. Yay! Clay's not here, but you won my books. Okay, and then we'll spin again. Julie Tran. Woohoo! She's one of the Asian Women Trailblazers, actually. Okay, and then we've got number 3. D. Britt. That was 3, right? This is number 4. John! I don't know what you won, but you're number 4, John.
We'll see what it is.
We'll see what it's a surprise, mystery. Okay, number 5. Joel Colson. All right. Number 6. That is Akifa Hope. Number 7. Bob. That's you. Number 8. Oh, sorry, John, you can't win again.
No.
Okay, we'll do number 8 again. I should have removed you, actually. Roger Coombs.
No.
All right, 9. Laura Redfern from Texas. I just met her. Number 10. Okay, we'll spin again for number 10. Leslie Lou. Woohoo! I think Leslie's here. Okay, number 11. Eileen. Woohoo! And last one. Good thing I'm recording this. Julie, which I think Julie just won one, right? So we'll do one.
Yes. She won the
Okay.
second one.
Okay. Dee, did you win one already?
Yes.
She did. Okay. You know, 12 is my favorite number. Jenny Muscatel, you're the 12th winner. Woohoo! Awesome. I am going to stop sharing. We are bringing everyone back together. And I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of the Quill Hawk Publishing launch party. There's a lot of comments in here. Thank you so much, and for tracking all the winners. I'm going to take a screenshot really quick. Okay, that is it. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and we'll make this available for later.
Thank
you, Amy.
Thank you so much, everyone. And if you want to
Amy.
do it, everybody, let me know. Bye.